Good morning, students. I'm going to attempt to show you how to do a dip and a strike for your lab. If you'll follow my instructions, I think that you'll find it a lot easier than you thought it was previously. So the supplies that you're going to need is going to be a pencil, a protractor, and my protractor is a circle protractor. You don't need to get that kind. You just need the half size, half moon protractor, the regular one from any of your convenience stores that you can purchase. And you'll also need a ruler. I use a clear ruler because it's easier for me to see the lines through and hopefully help you with your numbers and your lines. So let's get started. So what you need to do is you need to take your protractor, and if you'll look on my protractor, it shows the numbers from 0 to 90 and from 0 to 90, because if you remember, your dip is never going to be more than 90 degrees. And so you're going to take your protractor and you're going to line it up with the T that's on your paper, and hopefully you can see that. If you'll look at my protractor, you'll see that it has numbers from 0 to 90 and from 0 to 90. Okay, so we're going to line up our protractor with our dip, and as you can see, I'm lining this up carefully so that I can see where my numbers are. And as you can see, this dip lines up with 90 degrees. Okay, so as you can see, this dip lines up with 90 degrees. If you want to, and this is something that I have done before, you can take your straight edge, your ruler, and you can extend this line so that it reaches further out, so that on your protractor you can actually see where it crosses the line. And as you can see, this is 90 degrees. So the answer for our first problem is going to be 90 degrees. And so you would simply take this and write 90 degrees. Make sure you put the degree symbol because that is your unit, and you always have to have units on your paper. Now let's look at the next problem. We're going to again line up our protractor so that it is straight, and you're going to take, there should be a little circle probably on your protractor or a line like there is on mine, and you're going to take this angle away from horizontal, and you're going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. So this dip is 45 degrees. So again, take and write your answer, 45 degrees. So that's the top part of your paper, and you would measure each one of these separately. Okay, now so we move down to the bottom. It says draw the following dips. So I've drawn the first one for you, and as you can see, it's 25 degrees to the west. So if you will remember that the top of your page is north, the bottom of your page is south, the right side of your page is east, and the left side of your page is west always. So this one said 25 degrees to the west, so this line is directed toward this side of your page, which is to the west. So if you look at the next problem, it says 25 degrees east, and so you're going to line up again your protractor with this horizontal line, and you're going to find 25 degrees. So this is 10, 20, 25. 25 is halfway between 20 and 30, of course. And then take your straight edge or your ruler and draw your line. And so what you're looking at is this angle right here, which is 25 degrees, and it's dipping towards the east or the right side of your paper. One of the things that you will notice that this exercise is only for dip angles. And there is a reason why this is separated, because on a dip angle, the only way that you can measure the dip angle with an accurate degree of direction away from the horizontal on paper is to have that dip angle separate. You can't do a strike and a dip together on paper because the dip would go into the paper, and paper is not three-dimensional. I just wanted to touch base with you on that. That was one of your questions on your exercise and was covered in one of the videos. Now let's move on to exercise 6.2, our strike and dip. And on this exercise, you're actually measuring the strike and the dip. If you will look at your first example, you will see that this strike line, the long line in this exercise, is the strike. The short line is the dip. So if you look at your protractor, you will see that this is straight up and down, and so you would have 90 degrees from top to bottom, so that's going to be north-south. So you would go to the bottom of your page, and the strike on the first one would simply read north-south. The dip, on the other hand, is directed straight toward the right-hand side of your page or to the east, and so your dip here would be east. Okay, so you'd put your strike and then your dip. Okay, on B, on the second part of your exercise, if you will look and again line this up with your protractor, you will see that this is at 0 degrees, and so this strike line is trending from east to west. And so what you would write on your paper at the bottom would be east, west, and the dip on this problem is going straight south, and so your dip would be south. Now then, as you continue working across these, you will see that this strike is angled away from east or west or north or south. And in North America, the convention is that you are going to measure all of your strikes, the direction or the angle away from north. So if you will take a straight edge and parallel to the edges of your paper, if you will scribe a line or just put a line there, this will make it easier for you to see what your strike is trending away from that north direction. So the angle that you're measuring for your strike is this angle. So you would take your protractor and you would place it on your line. Make sure that it's nice and straight, and you could extend this line with your ruler so that you can see where it would cross your protractor. Okay, on your next example, we're going to line our protractor up. Make sure that you put this small line at where this vertical line and the line that's on your lab manual where they meet. Remember, this vertical line is going to be parallel with the edge of your page. This is the angle that you're measuring. And so you need to take that hash line or the circle that's on your protractor, and you're going to line those up carefully so that you get an accurate number for your degrees. And so you're going to start with 0 and you're going to go 10, 20, 30, 45. So this strike is 45 degrees away from north. And if you remember, the way that you would write that is north 45 degrees, and we are going towards the east side of your paper, so it's north 45 degrees east. And so then you would move to the bottom of your paper and you would put your answer north 45 degrees east. Now then, again, we need to do the dip here also, and this dip is trending towards the right bottom of your page, so that would be southeast. So your dip is southeast. And again, remember that if it was an actual dip, it would be down away from the surface, away from the horizontal. You can't see that on paper. So the only thing you can do here, because there's not a number, is to put that the dip is southeast whenever you're measuring strike and dip together. On your exercises A through H, your dip will only have a direction and not an angle, because again, this is on paper and you can't see the angle away from the horizontal on your dip. However, on I through L on your exercises, they have given you a number on the dip. So if you were out in the field and you were making a drawing to look at, again, whenever you get back to your field office or back to your desk, then you would put a number here. And so on I, this is 45, and on J, it's 62. So that's actually the dip angle away from horizontal. And so when you write those dip angles, you will actually have a number in addition to the direction that they are trending. So if you look at J, for example, it is going towards the top right-hand side of the page, so that is going to be the 62 degrees northeast. Okay, now you need to finish the rest of these problems on your 2 pages for exercise 6.1 and 6.2 for dip and for strike and dip. And when you turn those in, make sure that you work very neatly and that you use a ruler and a protractor. Then you need to complete your exercises 6.3. You will use examples in the book to help you complete those. Make sure that you are putting all the information on those sheets so that you put the mapped symbol. You complete the cross sections on both sides that you can visually see. So you have the top, the front, and the east side of those block diagrams or structure diagrams. Make sure that you are doing your rock symbols, and there are symbols in your book that show you exactly what to use. On the last page, whenever you draw your nonconformity, make sure that you're using an igneous rock symbol on the bottom of that to designate that it is a nonconformity, to tell the difference between that and a paraconformity or a disconformity. Thank you, and I hope that this has helped.